Man, that was that blue water. Was that guy on his way out there to save y'all?
Yeah.
Boy, you dug deep to get that video.
All I did was go to Piper, Mr. Piper, videos, and then I clicked on sort by most popular, and that wasn't very far down.
I can't even remember that so far long ago.
Yeah, well, you was getting into it.
I thought it was Peter Malick.
Well, that seashell necklace was popping.
Oh, that ski had aftermarket exhaust, aftermarket carbs.
Wow.
It was a beast. It runs 73, 74.
It looked quick. I know in the video you showed it taking off. It looked like it was getting out of there.
So
was the Yamaha?
Yeah, it was a 1200.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you should have put a rod rack on it and took that thing offshore. I want to take a little kayak. I've always wanted to take a kayak offshore, like, carry it on a boat, but it's too cumbersome. It would like take up all the room on the boat, and the boat, like, especially if there was any hull crackers on your way out there. Oh my God, the kayak, you'd have to really make sure it was ratcheted down good. But God, it would be so fun, would it not? I can't believe you guys got to. You know what? I've been boarded by the Coast Guard at least once. I was out of Virginia Beach one time, and these guys come up on me on a Zodiac. They all had the M16s. I guess they were some kind of assault rifle. They had a big turret gun on the front of their Zodiac. So these guys were buttholes. I mean, so you guys set off a personal beacon, an EPIRB. The Coast Guard comes out to you, and a friggin' helicopter and a boat.
Let's tell you what happened. Okay, we're going offshore. Okay, and I was trying to talk on the VHF radio, and for whatever reason, it just stopped. It just went out. Wouldn't do nothing. I went back there, tried to check a fuse, and if anybody's on here watching, it's got one of those white fuses in it. It's long like a little cigar fuse, but it's solid white. I don't understand the purpose in that. You can't tell if it's a fuse or not, if it's blown or not. But anyway, the bottom line is that radio's quit. So, we kept going on out. We got out to where we were fishing. And then really, too, what made me really want to do it without that radio, I said, well, I'm going to go ahead and make sure this thing's working. So I turned my PLB on. And I did watch a video on it about 30 minutes. So here's where I got misconstrued. When I raised the antenna up, I didn't see no kind of light, like the thing was on. So I mashed what I thought was the power button, because it's got an emblem like a power button. So I mashed it or pushed it.
Did it have the power button symbol on it?
Yeah, it's got a power button symbol on it.
Oh, wow.
It said help. It was red.
Help. So anyway, I push it and it don't do nothing. And then all of a sudden it says sending 406. I said, well, hell, that ain't a test. So I mashed the test button again. It wouldn't do nothing. So I mashed that button again. Sending 406. I tried to hit the test button again. It's not doing nothing. I said, well, damn, what's wrong with this thing? Hell, the radio's just working now. This thing's not working. So I did that 2 more times. And then that 4th time it said fixed coordinates sending 406 or 406 something. And then I said, oh shit. I said, hell, maybe it's down. I hope this thing ain't sending out no distress call. So I just wrapped it back up. I said, fuck it, I'm gonna turn it off. And Perry said, well, if it sent out a call, you might want to turn it back on just in case, so they not riding around out here, trying to find us. And then, so I turned it back on and threw it up on the dash. So 20, 30 minutes later, I'm up in the front trying to fool the radio again. I was like, man, something, I was trying to cut the wire, just check, make sure everything was plugged up. Scott said, here comes the helicopter. And I said, bullshit.
God, Scott. Oh my God. I would not have wanted to have been there. Because you was scared, but you was holding it together, wasn't you? You were like, man, these dudes are going to be so mad.
Wes put 4 cigarettes in his mouth and that circling.
Oh my God.
I was waving to him like Morris, to Jenny, hoping that they'd be like, oh, these boys are all right and leave. But no.
Well, to them, it's got to be a relief. They're expecting to see a capsized boat when they pull up,
Especially after 4 emergency calls.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. They pull up. Well, they fly up and they're making about the third or fourth circle. They start getting lower and lower. And then Scott said, "Oh, hell, look, coming here." I said, "Damn, what is it now?" And I look behind me, and here comes the Coast Guard cutter, and all you can see is water spray.
Yeah, they're hauling.
They're hauling ass.
They're hauling, son. I tell you what, if that don't make you proud to be an American right there, buddy.
Hey, well, I'm going to tell you.
God almighty.
Hey, at the end of the day, though, they come up, and, I explained to them what was happening. And then, I told her, I said, "I've got all my safety devices." She said, "Well, let me talk to my captain and see if he wants to board you." So, what was it, 10, 15 minutes later, of course, they said, "Yeah, we want to board you because my stickers is out. All I've got is a damn paper bill of sale."
We had planers out. I'm trying to clear rods, clear planers. And well, when the helicopter was circling, they had the side door open, and the guy with the helmet and the goggles was hanging out the side door, and he was motioning something, but I couldn't see. I guess he was saying to answer the radio.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, he's sending you like Navy SEAL. He's sending you like Navy SEAL signs. He's like,
yeah, and they keep getting lower and lower.
Yeah. So anyway, they finally came over and said, yeah, they wanted to board the boat. So a man and a woman, they got on the boat, and they were like extra cool. They were cooler than Freddie Jackson.
You guys got lucky, man.
Yes,
they looked like they were smiling in the picture.
Yeah,
they
were not. But anyway, so they get on the boat, and I told her. She said, "Does your radio work?" I said, "Ma'am, I just put this radio on this boat," and I said, "It was working this morning. It went out." I said, "If you'll look up there at the wire, see, I had it loose trying to get it fixed." And she said, "Well, I need to see your life." So I showed her life jackets. I showed her my flares. I showed her my whistle, my horn work, live fire extinguisher. So we said,
isn't that ironic? Where did they come from?
Tybee Island.
Where's that?
Georgia.
Okay, so they had a good trek north to get to y'all.
Yeah.
So
50 miles.
Y'all go through y'all hit an EPIRB. You locate you notify the Coast Guard. The Coast Guard comes all the way from Georgia.
Yeah.
Comes up on y'all idiots out there. Y'all just fine. Y'all just totally fine. Board your vessel, and then they want to see your life jackets and your flares.
Yeah. But here's the deal. Like you just said, though. I mean, it was an accident. Of course, God knows I didn't mean to do it, but it's a good thing to know that you got people out there. If that really would have been an emergency, that thing worked. It's worth
right, you basically, it was basically
and it can save your life.
How long did it take them to get there?
I'm not sure when the first one went out because I did it 4 times.
Probably about 40 minutes.
Probably about 40, 45 minutes.
Yeah, so that's not bad, dude.
No.
I mean, how far out were you?
Nowhere.
And that boat had to be hauling because that helicopter only got there about maybe 10 minutes before the boat arrived.
So y'all were how far offshore were you?
20 miles.
20 miles.
Wow. So y'all were out there 20 miles and you got rescued in 40. Well, would have gotten rescued in 40 minutes. That's not bad, dude. That's awesome.
Hey, they come south of us over 40. About Tybee Island's what, 40 miles maybe on water, give or take.
I mean, I guess maybe 50. I don't know exactly. I mean,
you should have told them that they could practice the bucket with you guys. They could have dropped the bucket, from the helicopter and use their winch to pull you. Y'all would have been like spinning.
I tell you, the guys in the helicopter didn't look entertaining. They look kind of physical.
Yeah.
Well, the lady, they called her on the radio, and she said, they said, we need his name and information or something. She said, wait a minute, I'm filling out another form. And he said, we need it. The heli needs it now so they can sign off on his beacon number or something. She said, and how did she say it? She said, I'm not. She said, I'll give it to you when I'm done what I'm doing. And I was like, oh, hell, here we go.
Mm.
But, those two, they were both young, as y'all can see in the picture. And I told Perry, I said, man, please don't say that about just nobody. And Scott said, shit, you going to tell 2 people before we get
Yeah, you might as well not even ask that.
Yeah. They were getting off the big boat onto our boat, and they had a big pad about that big. And I said, nice West. I said, that's the damn citation boat right there, brother.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So
that is
for
insane.
anybody that's watching, That,
there you go. You froze for a second.
For everybody watching, it's amazing though. Like Mike Bradford said, to have it saved Mike Bradford and somebody else that was on his boat. It saved their life sitting up there in 50-degree water. But like I said, it's just amazing to have something like that. If you're in distress, when you hit that signal, they come. They don't bullshit. And they don't know, like you said, they don't know what you're going into. They just came, and my hats off to the Coast Guard. I mean, I hate that happened.
You said Mike? Mike had to use them?
Mike Bradford had an accident. He was on the Mississippi River, and I don't know all the details, but his boat capsized, and they were actually on top of the boat. And Mike, if I'm not mistaken, Mike actually had to get out of the boat and swim back down and get his EPIRB while it was underwater because it wouldn't give a signal while it couldn't get a signal while it was underwater or something like that. So, but anyway, like I said, it's when I put that post up, how does $375 fit in a box this small? That's how. It's just amazing technology, and you can bet your ass I should never do that again.
Send 2 test dummies out in the ocean. We'll test some shit.
That's a fact.
When my cousin and I had an EPIRB, we kept that thing in the E-box. I was afraid to touch it. Like, I didn't even take it out of the pack.
Hell, Wes was playing with it like a Game Boy.
They took it out of the pack, and I put it back in the pack, and I was very delicate. I kept it up in the E-box. I made sure nothing like was going to be going up against it or anything. I was so nervous that I would accidentally do that.
So everybody wants to know what the fine was.
It was $2,500, and Perry was nice enough to split it with me.
Yeah, so, I paid $300.
No, there was no fine. Lori, my wife, of course, and the Coast Guard called Lori because I have that thing registered, her emergency contact, and she called Heather, and her and Heather was not happy campers for about 2 hours, because they notified, instead of waiting, which I would have hoped, but they notified Lori to see what her last contact with me was, and so of course when that happened, she just shit,
This vessel, Wesley Rhodes, sent out a distress call. And we have no contact with them.
Oh my God!
So she called Heather, and Heather was not a happy camper either.
Oh my goodness!
So anyway, after all was said and done,
y'all bumbling idiots.
Dumb
Lori said, about 2 hours later, she said the sergeant called her back and explained to her, what was going on, and she said, "Thank God." And Lori said, "Well, sir," she said, "if there's a fine for this or anything." She said, "Just let me go ahead and pay you, and please don't say nothing to him because he'll start raising hell and cussing when he gets in." And I said, but anyway, there was no fine. We was just kidding about that.
I don't think it's out of the ordinary for them to fine you.
No, he said there's no fines for that. That is a service offered by the Coast Guard. It's what our taxes pay for. Exactly what he said. But
that is very interesting.
Yeah. And the lady, she said, "Sir," I said, "Ma'am," I said, "Listen," I said, "I am so sorry." I said, I feel stupid. I said, I was trying to check this thing to make sure it was operating right. And she said, "Oh, you're not the only one that does that." She said, "We do get calls, by accident. And that's just," she said, "we're just doing our job." And my wife started smoking. She wants me to bring her a carton of cigarettes home.
Yeah, right. Lori, you better not.
I imagine most people that did it probably got a VHF radio though and could call off the dogs.
That was like Scott said earlier, that was like the perfect storm. The radio goes out. An hour and a half later, that was the main reason I turned that thing on. Because we didn't have a radio. Honestly, I really wasn't thinking about using it because we were only 20 miles out and there was other boats around us. Well, those other 2 boats left, so we were the only ones out there besides, these big ships and tankers. So I said, I'm going to turn this thing on just to make sure it's working. But there again, I watched the video and I was trying to power it up. And every time I was powering up, it was sending a distress signal saying, "Help me, help me."
Whatever YouTube video you watched, you need to share it and tell everybody that's the one not to watch.
What's awesome about it though is not only did we not have a radio, but we sent 4 distress signals.
That's maybe why they hauled ass so quick.
Wes has always had a good radio. Like every time he's been to the Chesapeake Bay. When I went to
the $300 radio, Scott said, "I want to get $268 back."
Is that the same kind of radio you had on the Sea Ark?
Yeah, same thing, a Standard Horizon. Okay. The same model. But check this out, Joe. It gets even better. Y'all gonna love this. So when it's all said and done, the Coast Guard's fixing to board our boat, and Scott said, "Well," he said, "you're gonna have to get a backup radio." As soon as he said that, I remembered. I had my handheld radio from the first year I went to Chesapeake Bay. I still had my handheld, and luckily, and it's a standard Horizon, it still had a charge, so I turned it on.
That whole charge is forever.
Yeah. So I turned it on 16, and I called the Coast Guard, and they copied me. He told me to go to channel 21 so we could communicate back and forth. And then that's when he told me on the radio, too. He said, "Well, we're fixing to board you. Make sure all your rods and stuff is up." So there again, if I'd have remembered, if I could have just thought of it, I forgot about having that radio. As soon as that radio went out, I should have turned that one on. And there again, that would have been another thing that would have just totally got us out of that situation without, I just hate those people come out like that. I think he said that cost was, he said they probably burn about $5,000 in fuel.
Yeah.
So
the tax money back.
It is what it is,
And Westcott tried to call us, but after about 12 miles out, the signal's terrible. But
very located bacon.
Yeah.
Hey, Justin Utterback, yes, this motel is a lot nicer than Carthage.
Yeah. So, Keith Wood said how to use an EPIRB should be on the next show.
Hey, I tell you, I watched a damn video on it, a 30-minute video, all the ins and outs of it. And every time I seen that guy, it never said that son of a bitch is on when you raise that antenna up. When you had raised that antenna up, because when I was at my house, and this is what's crazy, when I registered and everything, I was going to try to test it at the house. I did the same thing at the house, and it didn't send nobody out there. I thought I was turning it on. Then when I hit test, it said test complete. You have 19 left. You only got so many tests because it'll kill your battery.
They may not respond like if they see one go off in like a residential neighborhood.
So I don't know.
You should do it. Did you get any footage of the helicopter and the boat?
Scott got a picture of it. I don't know if he got any footage. You get any footage of it?
Oh, he was too respectful to pull his phone out.
Shit, we was too nervous.
If they got ARs, I ain't
I know. They might shoot it out of your hand.
But I asked that guy, I said, "You mind if I get a picture with y'all?" And he said, "Sure." And I said, "Make out like you put me in handcuffs." So I don't know if you noticed, he's holding handcuffs out, and they're both smiling.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it looked legit, except for them smiling.
Yeah.
If they would have had been straight faced, it would actually look like.
I tell you, it was rough out there too. It's like maybe 2 or 3 footers, and they had to put that big cutter up next to us, and they had to like jump over to the side. I mean, it was interesting.
Wes, you and Scott should make a YouTube video about this, about how to use the EPIRB and what not to do.
Or how
talk about your story. Huh?
Or how not to use it?
How not to use it. Yeah.
Well, it's a PLB, ain't it?
Yeah.
PLB.
Well, they're the same thing, I think.
An EPIRB is a PLB, yeah.
Yeah. I thought they were different.
I don't think that's the brand. I think it's just a personal location beacon, I think is what it says.
Yeah, that's right, PLB.
It works. That test button's hell on that thing.
Boy, you don't know.
Is it green? Is it a little green device?
Yeah, well, it's about that big. It's green.
It's like a
ACR.
pager. Yeah, it's got the wire antenna that you flip up.
Yeah, you pop it out. It's real flexible. Just
real flexible, yeah. Kind of like a strike indicator for.
Well, you've been fishing with Wes, JR.
Yeah.
He's always playing with shit.
Yeah. Well, that's what makes Wes Wes, man. Is he's curious and he's not shy.
I'm driving on the side of the corner of my eye. I see him. He's holding this son of a bitch on. He's flipping the antenna. And I'm like, this motherfucker better not hit that damn button. I mean, I thought it. I didn't say it.
He does with EPIRBs what he does with people. He just walks straight up to people. Hey, how you doing? I'm Wes Rose. Say you're a fisherman? Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Are you going fishing tomorrow? Where are you going? Oh, I'm going to go with you. I'll be right there with you. And they're like, okay, sure.
and then he goes, oh, shit. I think I just did something.
Hey, and they really love this. Hey, listen, right before they was getting off the boat, I said, listen, I'm going to ask y'all a question. I ain't trying to be funny.
Right.
I said, but y'all know where's a good place to fish out here? Call me down. And that lady looked and she said, no. She said, oh, the other guy that's usually with us, she said, he fishes out here a lot. He could tell you anything.
I mean, they came in a chopper. You should have said, y'all see any boats?
Hey, now listen, hey, we did about an hour after we started trolling, and I'm not exaggerating, we seen what looked like was probably a half to 3/4 of an acre of bait. It's just boiling on top of the water, and all of a sudden it just came out. So we turned the boat around and we trolled a circle around that bait for an hour and a half.
Throw a cast net and caught some of that bait.
So
it wasn't bonita. It was small.
That was real small.
Oh, it wasn't like pogies, it wasn't like a Ben Hayden, like a bait fish.
It could have been.
Yeah, but it wasn't like bonita. It was definitely something smaller.
Oh.
Getting pushed to the surface. There was a million of them.
Oh. Huh.
Fish weather was off about a foot on the waves and the wind today, but it took us a minute to get out there, and then of course we were tied up with the Coastguard 2 hours. So, that's about probably 3 hours we didn't figure on. But there again, like Scott said, it's a learning experience. I know how to operate a PLB now. It is what it is.
Yes. Well, at least you know how all that works. That's awesome.
And
at least you know that it works.
And I'm sure that I'll never live this down.
No, you'll forever be known for that.
Hey, I'm gonna go smoke. I'm gonna let Scott have a chair for a minute.
Okay.
If anybody talks shit about me while I'm gone, fuck.
All right, guys, here's your chance. If you want to talk shit about Wes, just go ahead.
We did catch a cobia.
Did you? No. Did you really?
It had suckers on its head.
Oh, a remora.
Yeah.
Those fish are weird, man. Like they'll stick to the boat.
A remora hit a sea wedge with a bonita strip at 5 miles an hour.
That's insane.
They
do look like cobia.
Yeah. I mean, it was fun. Fishing sucked, but
yeah,
I'd rather deal with the Coastguard again than catch any fish. That's classic.
That was cool. I know. Wes is going to go to bed tomorrow. Whenever y'all go back home, and he's going to pillow talk with Lori, and he's going to say, "Honey, I did all that on purpose, don't you?" And she's going to be like, "Yes, honey, I know you did." And they're just going to laugh. I can see it. I can see it.
He said, "Perry,
I just wanted to see how it worked."
He said, "Hey, Wes," he said, "Perry, when the Coast Guard was coming, he's like, don't tell nobody this shit." I said, he said, "Don't tell nobody this shit."
Yeah, he was all serious and sincere.
And I looked at him and I said, "Wes." Yeah.
That's hilarious, man.
It was interesting.
That was a beautiful helicopter. That thing had to have been like practically brand. They must have just washed it.
Oh, I don't know. It was a trip.
It was. God.
But yeah, it was rough. I mean, they called for 1.5 foot waves, but
who posted the clowns? Scott, you can't see the comments, can you?
Yeah, but I can't see them all, I guess.
You don't see the ones at the bottom. It says Facebook user, and it's got a picture of the clowns.
Well, I'm on your page.
Okay.
Probably Hovis, Javi, Jovier.
All right. I was going to see, because if it was an alias, maybe we're going to get blocked.
Nah, don't block nobody. Everybody knows we're clowns. Bunch of googans out in the ocean trying to figure out something.
It's Daryl. Oh, okay. What's up, Daryl?
Oh, Daryl. I looked for the dam all day. We couldn't find the dam. Oh, go ahead.
But yeah, it was a very interesting day. We had a good time.
We pulled like number 6 planers and drone spoons and sea witches and bonita.
Y'all I don't think y'all were out far enough.
I mean, there should be kingfisher on the wrecks.
78-degree water.
Did y'all hit some wrecks out there?
Oh yeah, we found the Betsy Ross. I finally zoomed in enough, and my depth finder put me right on it with that damn $350 map card. But every coordinates that we checked, I checked Satfish, Scott had a coordinates where he got from somebody or off some website. We put in 5 or 6 different coordinates, and none of them, they were all a mile off. And we finally found a reef and started finding some structure. There's a couple of boats out there, but we couldn't tell. I mean, we weren't close enough to see if it was catching anything, but they were moving around a lot too. So,
yeah.
But
I think most of your your bigger fish have moved north from where y'all were.
And we didn't give a shit if they were big.
I think that you would have had a bigger chance of getting on some fish had you went on out 60, 70 miles.
Yeah, that wouldn't happen.
No. On a flat day, you know, if I could run WOT 45 miles an hour, yeah, I'd go out there 60 miles.
You said they were like y'all were in like some 2 to 3s. They were pretty stacked.
There was some 2s and maybe a little bit over here and there, but we had a following sea coming back in. Yeah. So, you know, we roll back. We run about 30 mile, 25, 28, 30 mile an hour back in. But as soon as we got in the inlet, it got rough again.
That's not bad, you know. 28 miles an hour. That's
going out was about 16 to 18.
Was it wet?
No.
No?
We got good wipers.
Okay.
Wes got one wiper from 1956. Only 4 inches of it hits the windshield.
You got say, well, you know, it's a 93 model vet.
It's a 93 model wiper too.
That's what I was going to say. It's a 93 model hull with a 2019 outboard and a brand new trailer, but apparently the wiper is also a 93 model.
I don't even see how to change the wiper. It looks like you got to change the whole damn arm if you can.
That's probably why it still has the 93 wiper.
I know, right? Probably get something aftermarket put on it.
Something, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it really upset my wife today, and Heather was not a happy camper either. But you know, you get a call like that, you know, and you know you got loved ones out there in the ocean, and the Coast Guard calls them and said we got a distress call. You know, I'd have went ape shit crazy. You know, but. At least they did call her back. You know, they called Lori back, told her she was okay, and then she called Heather back. So
yeah, I know it was a scare. At least you knuckleheads are okay. That's important.
So I think tomorrow our game plan, and it's supposed to actually be flat tomorrow. It's going to be supposed to be a lot better than it was today. I hadn't even checked fish weather. Scott says he thinks we might just do better inshore, so we may just go down to the bridge and maybe just put some boards out. I mean, put some cut bait out.
They said that Kobe is tearing it up, but you can't keep them. But you can keep them 3 miles out. So I asked them how they know if we caught them 3 miles out or if we caught them in the bay, and they said they don't. But we're not going to keep anything. But they said the Kobe are biting good.
As long as you're inside 3 miles, even if you're in possession of them, you're good. That's why you'll see a lot of those guys that are beyond 3 miles. Whenever you see the Marine Police or the Coast Guard, you'll see a lot of those guys hightailing it back to the 3 mile line.
No, yeah, beyond 3 mile is legal.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The 3 mile line, they'll be headed back toward the 3 mile line, you know, coming back inshore before they get caught out there beyond. No, I'm sorry.
No, you're
the opposite of that. Yeah.
But,
I was more or less talking about the striper fishermen, how you're not allowed to target them past 3 miles. I remember seeing boats do that. They would be a fleet of boats out there, and you'd always see this one little center console that was kind of behind a bunch of boats, and you would see like Marine Police over here on this side, and you'd see them kind of cutting behind all these boats trying to get back inside 3 miles because they won't mess with the sport fishers out there because, you know, that's too much of the economy. So that kind of goes – people don't really know that. They're, you know, I'm sure that's one of those things where they would never admit it, but they definitely let the sport fishers slide, I think.
Everything's about money, baby.
Yeah, they're going to get guys like me and you. They're going to get us Googans out there. They're going to see us and make a beeline for us.
It was fun, but
you don't want to do it again. You don't want to go through it again.
No.
Mike said, do not go 60 miles with a single engine. Why not, Mike? You know, sometimes, you know, you can't be like one of the extremely, you know, safe your entire life. You have to take some risks in life. That's not that much of a risk. He's got an EPIRB. He knows it works.
That's
right. Yeah.
That's a
So
fact.
go out there, baby. YOLO. Go out there, catch some fish, man. He's got a 2019 model outboard. Jeez. You don't have to be rich to offshore fish. People are too scared. People are too
Shit.
scared to offshore fish.
Shit, the hell, you don't have to be
I
rich.
mean, what I'm saying is you got a
This is
single engine
killing me.
vessel. You know, everybody thinks that you got to have at least a 30-foot boat with twins to go offshore and fish. And you don't. You can go out there in a 20-foot boat with a single engine and be just fine.
Jay, just this trip right here in fuel, we'll be in it for over $600.
Yes. That's the downside.
Yeah.
And we were out at the 20-mile reef, and there was a 35-foot center console with 4 outboards out there bottom fishing. gas is hell, boy.
Yes. Yeah. You know, you can drift pretty quick, pretty fast out there in the Gulf Stream.
Well, I wanted to try drifting, but I don't think that the way the current was, we used trolling motor for a little while. I mean, you know, Scott knows more about this than I do, but this is just for a while. It's going to be a learning experience for me. You know, I just hope I can, you know, just learn how to catch some fish. It's not a lot. There's just not a lot you're going to catch out here worth of shit unless you go to the Gulf Stream. You know, that's just
for anybody that says cut bait is boring. Try trolling.
Yeah, trolling offshore is definitely not the funnest way to fish.
I mean, because it's not a numbers game.
You hear the outboard, you see all the salt drying on the outboard cowling, and it's just the sun baking down on it, and you're just
I noticed that today too. And then I got my wash down. And I said, "Wait a minute, I'm washing the fucking motor off of salt water. I'm beating a dead dog. I forgot I don't have a fresh water. It ain't a freshwater wash down; it's a saltwater wash down.
yeah, it's pulling it from the ocean.
Yeah, but it looked good for 4 or 5 seconds till it dried.
Yeah. I mean, it's not for everybody. How fast were you trolling, Wes?
We were what 4.5 miles an hour. Yeah, sometimes 6.
Yeah, I mean, you could have tried slowing down a little. That would have made it. There probably just weren't any fish where y'all were trolling.
I marked a few things what I thought was fish, and there was one hump. I'm not sure what it was, but it was a tall piece of structure, and it looked like there was about maybe 12 or 15 fish on it. But by the time we got ready and the way the current was, I couldn't get back on it. So
we would take a drift sock and throw it off the back, and we had one of those drift socks that was kind of like it had the float attached to it, so it would keep it out of the prop, and gas troll with the drift sock, and it would slow us down to about 2.5.
Well, I mean, like, I guess, I don't know, Destin is different than our coast, but like, that's how I always put planers out around about 5 with sea winches and drones, and usually catch fish around the wrecks all the time.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, you could do the same thing here. I think a lot of fish have moved north, but and the ones that are here have moved farther offshore.
Well, I figured the snake kings would still just stay around all
Yeah,
day.
there should still be some snakes out there. Absolutely. That's why I said slow it down. Sometimes, you know, most of the time you're trolling 6 miles an hour, but
Hell, we didn't even catch bonita. Usually always
sometimes slowing down and sometimes speeding up.
Yeah.
We'll trigger them.
We free line some cigar minnows on king rigs. We we fished bottom rigs. It was just wasn't happening.
Yeah.
Which
fishing.
I'm used to that. Wes used to catch fish.
Well, yeah. Wes wants to catch fish. That's why he went saltwater, so he could catch fish.
Hey, I forgot how to catch a striper. So, but you know that
offshore shit, boy.
But everybody's joking. But you know, this is something I think I'm gonna really like it. And actually, you know, for 2 foot and a half, 2-footers today, I was actually kind of proud of the grade. It did a lot better than I thought it would. You know, it's a dry. I think once or twice we might have took a little water over the boat, but you know, in that following sea coming in, we were rolling. Going out was, you know, we went, what was it, 15, 18 miles an hour going out. So we got back a whole lot quicker than we went out, you know. And then, like I said, that thing with the Coastguard was at least an hour, maybe a little over an hour. So we didn't really get to fish and do everything we wanted to do, but you know, it's a learning experience. So next time, you know, Scott has showed me around down here and where the boat ramps are, good places to eat, motel to stay at. So now, you know, if I want to come down here again by myself or bring somebody or whatever, I got a better idea where I'm at, you know, where to put the boat in. And where we put in at, as far as water depth, you don't have to worry about high tide or low tide. You can always get from the boat route out to where you want to go.
I think I'd be going there. I'd be going there like one time a year, a certain time of the year. I think you got to chase the fish just like you do in Tennessee. I think that, you know, one time you're going to have to go to Morehead City. One time you're going to have to go to Hatteras. One time you're going to have to, you know, leave out of here, leave out of there, leave out of Florida one time. But it's not that much of a drive. You can be in Pensacola in what, 8 hours? If that.
You know, I got to see a historic bridge today. Everybody has seen Forrest Gump, right?
Yes.
The movie Forrest Gump. Well, I didn't know this. We were fixing to go over a bridge, and Scott Googled it and showed me. Do you remember at the part where he was running? And
that was a lot of parts, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, no. When he was running on the bridge.
Oh yeah.
The bridge he was running over. We went over that bridge today, and I was like, really? I didn't know Scott was bullshitting me or not. And he pulled up a screenshot of it, and we went over that same bridge that Forrest Gump was running on. When he told that guy, he said, "Shit happens." So
that's awesome.
But we've had a blast. I think we're going to fish tomorrow, probably maybe till 3 or 4, depending on what they're doing, and probably drive home tomorrow afternoon. But it's been a learning experience. I've had a blast.
That's awesome.
Oh, Buford's awesome anyways, even if you don't catch fish.
Is it?
No traffic, good restaurants.
There's like so much water down here. Every time you make a turn on a road, there's a creek or a restaurant sitting on the water somewhere. There's just like an ass of creeks down here.
I'm trying to see how far it is to Pensacola.
That's you and Wes going there?
No. That's Wes and Peter.
them Pensacola Coast Guards are assholes. I ain't going.
It's not Google Maps isn't working.
Mike Bradford, Shane Alex is an easy button rose. Dang, the skipper said we some dumb motherfuckers. Skip, bring your ass out there with us. You don't get seasick, do you? I heard you were scared of salt water. The skipper really scared of salt water. I think he told me he got seasick one time. He would never get back on those.
I don't know.
But no, saltwater fishing is really, I mean, it's not for everybody. It's just, a lot of people get sick. I mean, I've been sick one time. I've been doing this I've been fishing, saltwater on and off for about 30 years. I've been out a lot of times to the Gulf Stream, and I got sick one time when I went out with Drew about a year and a half ago. We went out of Orange Beach in Alabama, went out to Louisiana to the oil rigs, tuna fishing. And about the last, I think it was maybe 8 or 10 hours coming in, I got sicker than shit, and that was the miserablest fucking time of my life. As soon as we got back to the dock, and I stepped on that dock, I went over in that hose pipe, washed my head off, I was golden.
It's 8.5 hours here to Pensacola.
Heck yeah, you go, man. No, go when I get back.
I better start. Tennessee's starting to look good right now.
Yeah, you got to go where the fish are. I mean, to drive all the way down to like the Grand Strand area, down south, Charleston. Only certain times of year that those places are good. Like in the summertime, that's not a good place to go. I mean, it's always a good place to go, but if you're going to be drive 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours to get somewhere, you might as well go where the fishing's better.
It's 3.5 hours from my house. It's beautiful.
You could have, y'all could have drove to Hatteras and went out there and got on all the bull dolphin you wanted.
Yeah, how far out? Last time we had to go 60 miles.
I don't know. I mean, it's North Carolina jots out there pretty close to the Gulf Stream. So
yeah,
probably not very far.
Have to run as far.
Yeah, you still would have probably had to go out at least 30 miles, probably. It just depends. We would just follow the sport fishers.
And running out there, the ocean's not bad. If you can run at least 35, 40 miles an hour.
Whew, yeah, that's hauling.
Yeah, that's not a bad ride. But when you get one to 30 miles an hour and you want to go 60 miles at 30 miles an hour, it takes you 4 hours to get out there, 5 hours.
60 miles, 30 miles an hour would be 2 hours.
No.
30 miles an hour. You go 30 miles in an hour.
What's he talking about?
That's right.
You can go 60 miles, 30 miles an hour.
30 miles an hour.
Yeah.
60 miles, 2 hours.
No. Do calculations. Right.
Yeah,
Wes, you bet so.
That ain't right, Scott.
That's right.
Tell me the calculations.
I did it. 30 times 2.
Okay, no, you don't go times 2. If I'm driving 60 miles, you're telling me if I'm driving 30 miles an hour, I can go 60 miles in 30 minutes.
2 hours.
You said 30 minutes.
What are you drinking?
Yeah, I mean, this is the guy that set off an EPIRB today.
No, all shit aside, I mean, it's just if you want to ride, that's a long ride. And if you're getting the hell beat out of it, and even if you're in a 38-foot contender with 4 fucking motors, 2 motors, that water's right. You're going to get shit beat out of you no matter what you're in.
Yeah.
And it's just tiresome. It's just holding on and the bumping and the knocking. And it's just tiresome by the time you get out there to the fish.
The hull crackers. Yeah, you got to love it, man.
Yeah.
Love it.
So
I don't love it.
I don't either, Scott. I mean, I was getting into it there for a minute, but it's just not sustainable for me. I think maybe that's why. Maybe I just didn't. I never allowed myself to fall in love.
I think if you're trying to follow the best fish, it's not. I mean, if you just go out and have fun,
yeah,
right.
I think that's the difference. I mean, people go to Hartwell every day to catch fish. They know damn well they're not catching no good fish.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess it's if you're going out to have the best fucking day possible and chasing them up and down the coast.
There's always a chance though. There's always, people say that there aren't any good fish in Hartwell anymore, but I think that's what makes people one of the things that lures them to fishing and intrigues them and keeps them coming back is that thought of, hey, there might be a trophy striper in here. I might get lucky.
Well, I was telling Wes, like, in the middle of the summer in Destin, 15 miles offshore, you're not supposed to see sailfish or wahoo, but number of times boats have hooked up with them out there during the middle of the summer. Just because they're not supposed to be there don't mean they won't be.
Destin's the Gulf, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Gulf side. It's a different animal.
But they're still not supposed to be in that close in that warm water, but they do show up. Yeah.
They do, yeah. It's weird because shallow water out of the Gulf is different than shallow water out of the Mid-Atlantic Bight.
What I'm surprised though, going out of Destin, it gets a lot deeper quicker than it does going off our coast. Well, at least going out.
It looks. I think it's the opposite, Scott. It stays shallow longer.
Well, that's what you would think, but today we ran 20 miles and we finally hit 80 foot of water. I hit 80 foot of water in Destin in 12 miles.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's weird. Yeah, I think that it's.
I think it's just the location of Destin. It's near the.
That's what I was going to say. I think most of the Gulf isn't like that.
Right. But it's only
just be that area.
It's only 23 miles to the continental shelf when you're in Destin.
Oh, really?
The nipple, which drops from like 350 feet to like 1,000 feet.
Okay. I've never fished been out.
I haven't been out to it, but
yeah, when you come all up into the Gulf, you can go. It's nothing to go out 15, 20 miles and still be in like 15, 20 feet of water.
Yeah, that's like Louisiana's a lot like that.
That's why guys will actually use the deep diving plugs like the Rapala. I forget what it's, DD something, and the man stretch 25s. Yeah, they'll troll those plugs and the Yozuri. That's the one I always like to troll out there in the Gulf, 15 miles out in shallow water, and actually bump the bottom with them for grouper. It's insane that you only have to go out that far to catch grouper.
Yeah, that's where I could go out to a 12-mile wreck and be in 70 foot of water and catch red snapper.
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah,
they're out
that's
of
awesome.
season, but like if they're in season, you won't catch any because the charter boats done break the reefs. But when they're out of season,
you always catch the best fish when they're out of season. I've caught some big, beautiful strawberry grouper, some big, beautiful gag grouper.
big trigger fish. I mean,
Had to throw them back out of season.
Hey, JR, I will say one thing for this down here. I know as much as I fished out of Merle's Inlet, you've got to go out at least 25 or 30 miles before you'll ever hit 50 or 60 foot water. You can go out here 20 miles, and we hit some water today that was 106 feet at 20 miles. So,
wow. Yeah, that's good.
That's a big difference, too.
That is a huge difference.
Didn't make no difference today, but it's still a difference.
Yeah.
Hey, we seen, I don't know, I'm a Guggen with saltwater, but we seen the little ball jellyfish.
Yeah.
I mean, hundreds and thousands of them out there. So,
yeah.
I mean, there was life. But
we had about, at one time, I think we had maybe 6 or 8 big spotted dolphin, huge dolphin. They were just swimming with the boat. I mean, they would come up every now and then and porpoise, and I got a little video of them, so I thought that was neat. So
that is neat. Yeah, I love seeing those things out there in the blue water.
Yeah, we didn't have to go out, but about maybe, the water was dingy, of course, coming out of the inlet right there, but out there about 5 or 6 miles, even Scott noticed, he said, look how the watercolor's changing. It just, in about 7 miles, we were in blue water down there. I mean,
yeah, you are in the blue water, but you weren't in the Porta-John blue water, but you were.
Yeah. Porta potty blue.
Yeah, when you get out there, way out near the Gulf Stream, that's when it gets that real, like, lustrous blue.
And I tell you, I still think what fish I've seen in the water in the ocean, I still say a dolphin is probably one that's got some of the prettiest colors on it. And that's
you're talking about the mahi? Yeah.
Mahi, yes. Yeah.
Mahi. Especially when you first catch them, man.
Yeah.
Why are some blue and some green?
That's why they like it.
No idea. I mean, if you think about it, they're kind of matching, like the sargassum out there, and like what else? I don't know what else could they be like. You're taking the color of the water, the blue, blending with the water. I guess I don't know.
Kind of like a chameleon.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of fish are like that. If you catch a largemouth bass, that's been relating to lily pads, they'll be like a brighter color. You catch them in the winter when they're deep, they'll be a lighter color. They change colors. Like flatheads will change. They'll change colors big times. A flathead will be like just plum yellow sometimes.
There was a topic. I don't remember. It might have been on one of Chris Hovis's posts a couple of years ago about these black line tanks. And, if you're not using skipjack, if you're using gizzard or herring, that it'll make your bait dark looking. Then somebody made a point. Well, okay, it makes it dark. But what about when you drop that water down, when you drop that bait down, when it gets in dark water out of the water column and the sun can't get to it, and say it's down there a couple of minutes, does it get dark down there? Does it change color down there?
I don't know. I would imagine it would take longer than a couple of minutes.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I would imagine it would. Yeah, I don't know. The fish tend to change color when they spawn too. I wonder if they're, that's interesting. Because you always assume that they're just changed. Like a blue catfish will get a really, really dark blue, during or right after the spawn.
I always thought it was cool when they would hold up a big bull dolphin and it was like bright sky blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one,
they lose their color so quick.
That one that Richie caught last week, I think he caught one of the biggest ones on that trip, and he was really blue. It was just amazing when they pulled him out of the water. It's just, and then of course when he started dying, by the time he was ready to go in the box, it then went back almost green again.
Yeah. Paula said we're gonna have to have her on the show in the near future. Yeah, of course we'll do a catfish show. We'll have you on here. Wes loves talking about catfish, don't you, Wes?
I don't care what we talk about. I just have a good time.
Yeah, we got to throw in a catfish show every once in a while.
But I tell you, it's saltwater fishing. It's not cheap. I mean, but I think I got started as far as I've got the tackle to do what I want to do with now. Of course, you don't have to be replacing. It'll last forever. Running, I got the rod and reels that I want. So, You know, I just need to get a lot of knowledge right now. Peter gave me a lot. Scott gave me a lot today.
I didn't give you shit. I showed you how to run. I showed you how to run planers.
Stop it, Scott. You know you're knowledgeable, Mr. Modest over there.
Fish, how to get around, what boat ramp to use, a good motel to stay in, where to eat. I mean, yeah, that's 90% of it. You know, and there's a lot of things though that I think, as far as me and striper fishing, you know, and everybody knows. Yes, I had a lot of help. You know, everybody likes to say Todd Asher helped me a lot.
Everybody has a lot of help.
Everybody has helped me, not just Todd Asher. Right. You know, Anthony Johnson has helped me a very little bit, so I'll give him a little bit of credit. Scott Perry, Patrick Miller, when I first started, Shane Howington. You know, like I said, I've got three other than you, JR. I consider you one now. But when I first started striper fishing, you know, and after a couple of years, I had 3 people that I called my friend that I would tell them anything in the world. It didn't matter. You know, and that was Scott Perry, Shane Howington, and Patrick Miller. That was 3 people, and they're still some of my best friends today. I tell them anything.
Yeah. Today's times, you know, somebody that's passionate about the sport can learn a lot quicker than someone that was passionate about it 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Yeah. And I think you probably get some hate from people that, you know, it took them a lot longer to learn what you've learned in such a short period of time, you know, but you can't help that technology and, you know, things are, you're capable of learning so much more in such a short period of time now.
You see, I even learned how to use a PLB today. You know, I mean,
yeah.
And I learned that on my own. Didn't nobody?
You learned that on your own. Yeah, you know more than everybody on that, buddy.
But you know, and then like I said, I learned a lot. Believe it or not, by myself. And I was told this years ago, and I tell people too. Time on the water. Go fishing. Don't sit on your fucking couch. Watch it on Facebook. Try to screenshot where somebody's fishing. Fish have tails and they move. And if you see a man fishing here, he'll go somewhere else and fish. Yeah. You know, it's just a lot of it's just time on the water, and a lot of it's trial and error. That, you know, the fishing gods have to be with you also. So
preach it, yeah. Because if you're passionate about it, you're going to want to be out there anyways. And yeah, you're not. It doesn't matter how much you hear and read. You're not going to learn more than actually being on the water yourself and putting the time out there. It's fun. You know, It's very rewarding.
You know, it always seemed to me though, and Scott said the same thing. He said, you know, sometimes there's just times he likes to be by himself. But it always seemed like I catch more fish. I don't know if you've ever looked at a lot. I mean, I think I got 5 or 6 people I put on their personal best striper. Mm-hmm. But it seemed like I always caught more fish when I was by myself.
I think it's because you do things that you wouldn't normally do. Because, you know, when you're by yourself, you're content. You don't have anything to prove. You know, you're just out there, you know, getting your mind right, not really caring about whether you catch fish or not. But when you got someone with you, you kind of go into guide mode. And, you know, you want that person to feel what you feel. You want them to experience it. So you do things, you try to make things happen more so than you would if you were alone, I think.
Well, my guy today, he didn't hit on a whole lot, but he showed me a lot of stuff. So I got to give him some props.
Hey, you know, those trips that you don't do well, you always learn more because, you know, Scott would have been like open with his information anyways.
Yeah.
But if you'd have had another fisherman that had a lot of knowledge and would have went with you today, he would have probably shared more with you on a bad trip than he would have on a good trip. So sometimes those bad trips, when you take someone, actually end up paying off more in the long run because they tend to, just like going with a guide in Tennessee. You know, if they take you somewhere and they're not catching fish, they're going to give you, at least it's almost like they're going to try to compensate for not catching fish by giving you information.
Or, you know, or show you how they're doing it, you know.
Yeah.
What water temperature you fishing? Why are you fishing in this spot? Because you like this temperature water this time of year, what you're using for bait, your technique. I mean, as I said, Todd Asher showed me, I'd never cut bait in my life. I'd heard about it. I knew people did it. Todd Asher showed me how to cut bait, and I came back to South Carolina and fucked things up, you know.
Yeah.
But I stayed on the water a lot. You know, I fished. I was going by myself for over a year until I started catching fish, and then everybody and their brother wanted to come jump on the boat with me. Then it wouldn't nobody offer to come fish with me when I wasn't catching shit. Mm-hmm. You know, but I probably wouldn't want to go with nobody if they wasn't catching fish either. So you can't hate for that.
Scott. Go ahead, Scott.
I said, Daryl's on here. I was just going to tell him we looked for the dam. We couldn't find it.
There wasn't no dams out there, was it?
We couldn't find Anthony Johnson. We couldn't find Billy Dick, and we couldn't find the dam.
Oh, man. You didn't see Red come flying by on his tiller?
Well, I did see Red. We tried to chase him.
No, Daryl Barney and Todd Asher's done made it since I quit fishing in Tennessee. Daryl Barney just stepped right in and took Todd Asher right out from under me. I mean, yeah. Todd don't even call me no more.
No, but doggone. He's changing best friends like the weather.
So, Daryl Barney, I hope you like my sloppy seconds, homeboy.
Up there fishing where it's chilly.
The chilly Willie.
Yeah.
Hey, Daryl, give me a Harley Davidson shirt when you go by up there.
He knows what we're talking about.
Oh, yeah. He's like, God, shut up. TMI. Wait,
hey, Daryl, hey, next time you go up there, stop there at your restaurant there at the biker shop. They have got excellent food. It's right there on the right.
Why is bar food so good?
Why is what?
Why is bar food so good?
Because you drink it when you eat it.
If you're talking, it all tastes good.
I guess so. It's so good, though.
What'd you have tonight, Wes?
Scott, we went to the 11th Street Fish House. Awesome food. I had some fried flounder, corn on the cob, French fries. Fucking awesome. What'd you have?
I had grouper, grilled grouper.
Oh my goodness, really?
Parmesan.
Yeah.
Off the chain.
Wes, did you say Parmesan?
Parmesan. It's that Parmesan that he's shaking.
Parmesan. That's why he's calling this a kid, Parmesan.
Yeah. Well, you got me last night. I thought it was called Permy. I didn't realize they were called permits.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a T on the end.
All right, guys. Well, it's been over an hour.
Well, hell, your introduction was 5 minutes watching some fool right.
It was like a minute. It was like a minute and 10 seconds.
No, I watched him ride jet ski for 2 minutes. And then we chatted down for a minute.
I said, man, I'm gonna surprise him and
y'all screwed me out of 3 minutes on the show.
I didn't have time to do like some kind of EPIRB intro or something about y'all going offshore. I was like, screw it. I'm just gonna screen record Scott Perry on a jet ski. That'll work.
Yes, classic.
Well, you want to call it, Wes?
Yeah, you ready to get some rest? Yeah, I think we're gonna get some rest and try it tomorrow.
Actually, I'm taking Wes to the bar next door,
but I wish I was there with you boys. Glad y'all made it out all right today. And
man, we were safe. Listen, we were so safe. We had a helicopter and a boat out there. Another Coastguard was with us all day today.
That's awesome. Thank you, United States Coast Guard. Appreciate you. And sorry we done that to you, but it was
chain gang shit.
And listen, I would like to say, I don't know if y'all, I'm sure most people have heard, but if you hadn't, 18 children were killed in Texas today, and a teacher in a mass shooting. And I don't know. That's just almost unimaginable. You know how much evil can be in a person's mind to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife's big on prayer. I'm not, but I've actually said a prayer, and I don't know if he listens to people like me or not, but I said one anyway. And just pray for these families. You know, I'm sure I know all those children are in heaven right now. The children, the families need prayer. First responders, anybody that's got anything to do with this, because this is just, I've never seen nothing like. They say Sandy Hook. I forgot the whole tragedy there, but I think they said this is the worst shooting since Sandy Hook.
Sandy Hook, I think was 20.
Somebody walks in an elementary school and kills innocent children. I just don't understand how evil your mind can be, just how the devil can get in you that bad. But undoubtedly he did. You know, and just if you pray for these families, because they really do need it.
Amen. Yeah. Good night, fellas.
Talk to y'all tomorrow. If I go live, Scott might have a fish on.
See you next week on Real Fisherman. Bye-bye.
Good night.